Good morning, Bowsher here on Love Sport, in for Kelvin McKenzie. Right, this is a bizarre story. There's a gentleman called Leo DeWatts, a businessman, and he's launched a business selling fresh air to the Chinese. Yes, you heard that right, fresh air to the Chinese. He somehow collects the fresh air in Somerset or Dorset, bottles it, and then sells it to the Chinese at £80 a bottle. And apparently he's already sold 180 bottles. His name is Leo DeWatts, and he's on the line now. Good morning, Leo.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Now,
not at all.
You're not surprised. I think this is bizarre. I mean, for starters, how on earth do you collect this water, air rather? How do you get it into a bottle?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we go up onto the countryside, onto the hills, or maybe down by the beach, down by the sea. We have these nets, which basically like fishing nets,
Okay.
but they have a non-porous material in there. We then sort of scoop that through the air, and then we put that into the jar.
And how do you sell this? What's the justification? Why would anyone want to buy a bottle of air rather, for £80?
Well, it's funny there, because you're naturally wanting to say bottle of water.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the thing, is a bottle of water is normal to us, right? And the thing is that if you live somewhere where it's polluted all the time, clean air, is something that you actually need to pay for regardless. So whether or not you're buying an anti-pollution face mask or you're buying an air purifier, people are naturally used to paying for clean air. So all we're doing is we're getting the raw product and putting that in a jar and selling it.
But from what I've read, correct me if I'm wrong, that your jar of fresh air only lasts for a few seconds. So given a choice between a jar of fresh air or as you say, a pollution mask, I'd go for the mask, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, that's why we also sell anti-pollution masks as well, for that very reason, that if you can't afford the real stuff, then the filtered version is going to be, a bit cheaper and a bit better for you in terms of, in the long run.
So, I mean, how does it work? Do I just open up the jar and the air wafts out, and then after a few seconds it's gone? Am I right on that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's how fragile our world is now, that's very much the case, 1 minute it's there and 1 minute it's gone. So, the actual jars themselves, they resemble that.
I mean, Leo, you sound like a nice guy, but I still think this is totally nuts. Now, here's another one. So you've bottled it, you've got to get it out there to China. I mean, is there a sell-by date on this? Do you have to open it quickly, or does the air go off?
No, I mean, basically, once it's in there, it's sealed. It's, it's got a very good airtight rubber seal on it. So you can store it there for, as long as you want, and then when you do want to open it, you can do. So, yes, there's no issue with that.
And so how easy have you found this to market in China? How have you found your customers who've bought 180 bottles so far?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I'm out in Hong Kong anyway most of the time, because we actually run a sports media company there, and AETHAER was born out of that, because we wanted to promote to people this idea that, you're going out, you're playing sports in places like Hong Kong, in China, but at the same time you're breathing in all this pollution, so you're actually doing more harm than good. So, from that point of view, with the health and wellness side of things, we were able to market to people this idea that, look, we really have to focus on the air quality around these places. So with that in mind, people have been actually very receptive to it, because a lot of people want to be healthier than they would be otherwise.
I mean, I get that pollution is a very serious problem in China, and not just in China, in many countries, even here in London, we've got too much air pollution now. I'm sorry to come back to this, but I'm still not convinced a jar of fresh air is the answer to that air pollution problem. I guess I also read, and I got this right, that you purposely try and give the air a bit of a sort of a country aroma to prove that it has come from rural Britain. You haven't just gone out onto the street in Hong Kong to get your air. Is that right?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, we definitely do go out into the countryside. I mean, where we're based in the UK is right in the middle of the countryside, so it's pretty easy for us to go walk up a nearby hill or something like that. We did a little documentary with John Richardson not so long ago, where he came and joined us for one of those. But no, as you say there, you're not terribly convinced that this is the solution to air pollution, and it definitely isn't. But it is a massive starting point for getting people to be more conscious of it, to talk about it, to spread the news about it, and ultimately try and bring about change.
I mean, okay, you're raising awareness. That's a good thing. But then I can give you a sort of serious argument back. Is what you're damaging the environment by shipping or flying this fresh air halfway across the world, spewing out more CO2 as this product is transported. I mean, so if you are doing some good by raising awareness, you're also doing some harm by contributing to climate change.
I mean, in all fairness, you could say that for any product, couldn't you, really? I mean, if I decided to open up a jar shop selling empty jars anyway, and said, hey, look, don't worry, this thing's not made out of plastic, it's only made out of metal and glass, it's all recyclable, it's good for the environment, then people would get upset about that and say, well, no, you've still got to transport it. That's the same with any, for example, any bar of soap by...
It is, and that's why, but that's why we shouldn't start consuming new products that we didn't consume before. It's just making things worse. And finally, from a business perspective, Leah, how big do you think this could be? You've just sold under 200 bottles so far. How big can this become?
Look, for the jar side of things, I actually, hope that the business doesn't become too large. I would rather that, we cleared up the pollution side of things and actually reduced the market. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. So yes, it is growing, and I found that as we've been growing as well, there's been other competitors coming into the market as well. So that's why we're trying to focus now our efforts more on anti-pollution face masks as well and diversify our product range, just so that people's got different options of products they can buy from us.
Leo, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I salute your entrepreneurial spirit, and I completely get this may raise awareness and your masks may help, and air pollution is a massive, massive problem for us all. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Leo de Watts. His business is called AETHAER, as he just mentioned a second ago, and this is a business that doesn't just sell air to the Chinese. They're doing various other things as well. Right, we're going to head up to the news now. After the news, we're going to be talking